The report, the product of 10 months' study by 18 chairmen and chief executives, delivers a blunt warning. British companies within the CBI framework, including some 2 million employees, need to reduce their carbon emissions by an extra 1 million tonnes within 3 years.
What helps us to make the case as the United Kingdom, given the leadership that we have shown on climate change, is to show that we are doing the business at home, which is why the CBI's report matters so much, why the action that you are taking and will take matters so much, and why we are putting before Parliament, and today is the second reading of the climate change bill in the House of Lords, why we will put this groundbreaking and historic piece of legislation on the statute book. Not my words, but the words of environmental NGOs who recognise that Britain is going to be the first country in the world to put on the statute book a binding commitment to reduce emissions.
Hilary Benn appreciates that companies want guidelines when aiming to reduce greenhouse gases. Requesting clear rules on carbon trading is the message he hears from business.
If you tell us what the framework is, if we know what the rules are, if we know what the carbon price is going to be, and that's why binding commitments from countries are so important, because without that you don't have a functioning carbon market. If you don't have a functioning carbon market, you don't have an effective carbon price. If you don't have a carbon price, you're not sending a signal to the market about changing the way in which investment decisions are made, and actually you wouldn't be raising finance which can then pass to the developing world, which needs financial support.
The report is doubtful whether the UK's carbon reduction targets for 2020 can be met, but with prompt action, objectives for 2050 can still be achieved.
The Stern report changed a fundamentally environmental issue into an economic issue of the first order, but also increasingly consumers within the UK are starting to ask questions about the environmental performance of their companies. And I think we have moved to a situation now where businesses really have understood that there's a challenge to be addressed, and the debate now is how quickly and how effectively can we respond to that.
The CBI report also calls for the UK government to build on its leading role, saying that tough decisions have to be taken if emission targets are to be met.